Hey, what is up guys? Zero here. Welcome back to another lorcana video. Once again, today we have yet another deck tech for you. I don't normally buy a lot of cards, but I think I've lost my mindset and I've indulged more than normal. Much to your benefit though, I will be spoiling you with another one or maybe two of these. Only time will tell. So here we go. The spicy deck I have for you today is Amber Ruby Locations. If you didn't know, a lot of you beautiful people are currently not subscribed. If you enjoy this kind of content and would like to see more, I hope you'll consider it. Also, if you hit the notification bell, you'll be notified when I post fresh new content, so do consider doing that as well. If you like the content of this video, please give it a like. Lets me know I'm doing a good job and to keep up the good work. But alright, now, first we are going to be covering the key cards of this deck. The meat and potatoes, you can call them. But the combo of cards we will be focusing on this time is going to revolve around a card around since set 1, Just in Time, a 3-cost action card that allows you to play a 5-cost character for free. This card allows you to cheat out a powerful card out way earlier than usual at the cost of being an uninkable action. With this, we can cheat out the main player of the deck as early as turn 3, Jim Hawkins. If you haven't seen this card before, it acts as the crux of any Ruby location deck. He is a 5-cost character that on play allows you to play a location with cost 4 or less for free. We follow this play by cheating out a location, primarily his flagship RLS Legacy. This combination made its first appearance last set and managed to top 8 at a CCS tournament. Getting these two cards out on turn 3 is usually particularly hard to deal with. RLS Legacy begins to gain you 2 lore per turn it remains unanswered. Not only that, as it remains on the field, you can begin to stack all your characters on it for 1 cost per piece, rendering them all evasive and equally difficult to deal with. If they struggle to answer this from the start, we continue to pile on the advantage from there and hope to overwhelm them before they get a chance to recover. If I had to classify any more cards as key cards, I would probably include every other 4 to 5 cost card that can get cheated out by Just in Time. That is the whole premise of the deck. The more cards we can cheat out earlier, the more lore we can get, the higher chance we can end it before our opponent gets rolling. But yeah, we'll go over all that more in the deck list though, so let's just jump over to that for now. So this is the list I have landed on. Once again, it is probably incomplete and can definitely be improved on, but it serves as a good starting point for now. Once again, we are going to go as per normal. We're just going to go down the line. Starting off with our 1-drops, we have the Queen and Mulan, the Injured Soldier, and we also have their respective Shift Floodborns in the deck as well. But yeah, the idea behind these two cards is, well, for both of them, we can shift them eventually. Mulan is especially helpful because we don't really have board clears in this deck, so Shift Mulan acts as one. The Queen, she can shift on 2, which is a very nice curve, but also we have this as a Daisy Duck counter potentially, or that was the whole idea of me adding her in the deck to begin with at least. But the idea is if they're on the play, they get Daisy Duck out, we can play the Queen on 1 and on turn 2 shift and take her out if she quests. So that's very nice. Her alternate abilities also of course very strong. The Queen has always been a very good turn 2 play. But beyond that, Mulan also acts, of course, as she does in Ruby, as a heal target for Rapunzel. We also play Mother Gothel in this deck, so very much like our Poppy OTK deck, we have both of these injured characters that are just asking to be healed. In this deck though, we have Rapunzel to complement them. As you know, she has been around since set 1. She is an amazing card. When played, we can remove up to 3 damage from one of our characters, and we draw a card for each one. So especially comboed with Mother Gothel, this gives us 3 cards, a very good card indeed. We don't really have much other forms of card draw. We have one other card that draws us cards, but this will be one of our most reliable forms of card draw. So we do have to run 4 Rapunzels. I think that is no-brainer. We can't really stray away from that, unfortunately, especially with some of the other combos we have. I think we want to run 4 first, so yeah, non-negotiable. But yeah, anyway, besides that, our other former card draw we have is another 2 cost. This one just came out this set 5 and complements the deck really well, I think. It's Fix It Felix Jr. He's a 2 cost 1/3, but his ability is when you play this character, if you have a location in play, you draw a card. So very nice. He replaces himself. Not amazing, but definitely you'll find his effect is very, very helpful, especially in the mid and later game when we're just trying to cycle through as many cards as we can. Him replacing himself is really nice. But yeah, besides that, we of course have the 3 cost Ruby Tuk Tuk. We don't see him very much because he is very location centered card. He is evasive, and the ability when you play this character, you can move him and another character to the same location for free. That character gets +2 strength, so very nice effect. Also, this cheating cards onto locations is very helpful for us. As you can tell, we cheat a lot in this deck. Definitely not a favorite of our opponents whenever I play this deck. If I get some of the combos across, I get a lot of moans and groans, so fun for us, but not so much for our opponents. But yeah, we're going to come back to this card when we go over one of the locations in particular. But from here on out, the rest of our cards are going to be 5 costs, so they can all be targeted by Just in Time. It's just something to think about. The first one we want to go over is Fix It Felix Jr., the shift version. We didn't really talk about this yet, but this will shift onto our 2 costs. It curves very nicely because it shifts on 3. But his ability is your locations get +2 willpower, which is very nice. Often a lot of decks focus on like having just enough to take out like Library or Queen's Castle now in particular. Those are like the main locations being played right now. So Felix kind of confuses them a bit by adding 2 willpower to your location. So sometimes like they'll leave Legacy, RLS Legacy alive for another turn, thinking they can take it out next turn, but then you play this card and suddenly you've stalled another turn where it has become 10 strength, and sometimes they can't reach that as easily because 10 is a lot. But yeah, even the little bit helps. He's very nice. His stat line is kind of nice too. He doesn't lore for very much, which is the only unfortunate part, but having a 4/5 body, he can trade. He can also trade into Daisy Duck on turn 3, so it's not too late. You can take her out. You can take a bunch of characters out at on turn 3, so he is nice for sure. We have the Queen, of course, which we talked about a little bit. If you don't start with the Queen and you don't have any other just-in-time targets, she is perfectly valid to get out on the board. We have Jim Hawkins, of course. We've talked about this. He's a very good just-in-time target to get out your location out early, but perfectly good play on turn 5 as well. We should not forget about his second ability either, which is when you play a location, this character can move there for free. So you find yourself in a situation where Jim Hawkins is not on a location because they either destroyed it or you destroyed it yourself, which we will go over in a bit. But if you play another location, he can move there for free, which is very nice to know for the RLS Legacy in particular, because it's so hard to get the first character on there to begin with. But yeah, our last 5 cost is going to be Maui. He is our removal, the Rush Reckless Maui, so that you can go in and just immediately start taking out characters. Again, this can also be hit by Just in Time, which can definitely surprise some people. But yeah, the rest of our deck is going to be yeah, we have the Mulan, as we said. We have the Just in Times. We run 4 of because we're just trying to aggressively get to it and hopefully win off that. I do have 4 of Brawl. I just felt like this is a necessity, just, you know, as removal, because besides like Maui and you know, like Mulan, we don't have much other removal, so Brawl is really nice in case we're on the back foot, you know, just to, you know, keep us in the game. But the rest of our cards are going to be locations. We have 3 of Neverland. The only reason I have this is because it's a 1 cost location, so it curves into our 2 cost Fix It Felix. If we have to play it, at least we can immediately draw a card because we already have a location. We have the Legacy, of course, that we've mentioned a couple times already, but the other location that I have added into this deck is the brand new 3 cost location from this set, the Pride Lands Jungle Oasis. It has a really interesting ability in that when you have 3 or more characters on this location, you can banish it to bring back one of your characters from the discard for free. So the ability, I won't say like you'll be using it a lot. I have definitely gotten it across a couple of times though. The location itself already gains 1 lore passively per turn, so even just leaving it on by itself is nice anyway. But his second ability is definitely really good, because sometimes, you know, you'll find that your opponent has to like can't take it out entirely in 1 turn. 8 health is a lot, and if we have like the Fix It Felix Floodborn, then it has 10 health, so if they have to do a bit of damage on it, we can stack characters on it, banish it, and just bring another character that we had in the discard for free. We will go over more of what we can do with this card in the combo section coming up, but yeah, this is the core of the deck. Definitely moving parts we can think about immediately. If I'm thinking about possible subs, my first thought for a possible addition would be Agrabah. This is the 3 cost location in Ruby that has no effect. It just passively gains 2 lore per turn. Possibly adding a 2 of this card could be beneficial. It makes for a more aggressive front location wise. This could be a good play against a deck like maybe blue-red, where they want to idly ramp and they don't really bring characters out very early. We could possibly steal some lore this way with this card. It can of course be played out with Jim Hawkins, so that's the idea, but it doesn't really have an effect, so that's kind of why I don't have it right now, but definitely something to think about if you're having trouble getting lore early in the game. If you're hurting for card draw, Queen of Hearts Sensing Weakness could be the ad. It's a 5 cost card, so you can also cheat it out with Just in Time, but usually you probably don't want to do that. You want to play it out on turn 5 and get some challenging done on that turn, because for every challenge you get across, you get to draw a card. So yeah, if you're hurting for card draw, this is definitely something you can consider adding. Another thing to think about is possibly Piglet Poo Pirate Captain. Since we're trying to go for like an aggressive style of deck, an aggressive card like Piglet would be a nice add possibly. It also serves as another threat they might have to take out before getting to your locations. So if you do something like play a 1 cost, play Piglet, and then just in time you Jim Hawkins into a location, they may feel like they have to take out Piglet before trying to even challenge your location, so you might get some free lore that way. So definitely something to think about. And the other thing I can think about is possibly Sisu, the Emboldened Warrior. She's already a very strong card. We already see her in most Ruby decks. It's kind of just a generic add, and it's just always good. So maybe add her in if you're if you feel like you're losing games, like you feel like the deck isn't just generally good enough, and you want a generally good card. That's something that you might that's something that might be worth adding. She has a lot of strength when played early, so you could play her as a counter to Ruby Flynn Rider. She also quests for 2, so she's still kind of pushing your like aggro agenda, so definitely something to think about. I'm sure I'm missing some other good cards, so definitely if you have any ideas, shoot me a comment below. So for this section, I wanted to focus usually on the first 3 turns, as I feel like it makes or breaks our game most of the time, and then kind of go over like possible next couple turn plays after that. But yeah, if we don't find one of these to do or something similar, oftentimes our game plan will kind of start to fall apart. Not that we can't win, that it just kind of becomes more of an uphill battle than we'd like. But of course, starting out, we'll go off something off the top of my head that I think is just always strong. Turn 1 Queen, turn 2 Shift Queen, into turn 3 Just in Time Jim Hawkins RLS Legacy. So this is probably like our most aggressive early questing turn, and of course it requires us having Jim and RLS and Just in Time in our hand, which we won't always get every game of course, but when we do, this is usually a pretty crazy line. Once our legacy is online, we can also put our queen there next turn, giving her evasive, keeping her safe. We can keep using her ability, we can keep questing with her, just get a lot of lore across the board really quickly. Another possible follow-up play is if they have a 3-strength character on the board, something like Mr. Shmi, we can run our Jim Hawkins into it if it quested. And then since the next turn we will have 4 ink, we can play Rapunzel and heal Jim Hawkins for the 3 and start getting our card draw just to, you know, continue our game plan. Another possible line we can do is we can play like Mulan on 1 or Gothel on 2 or both. And then again, we can do turn 3 Just in Time Jim Hawkins RLS Legacy. followed by Rapunzel on turn 4 for the heal. We can play this now on Gato or Mulan since we have it on the board. If we don't have the Hawkins combo, something you can consider is you can actually play Just in Time to cheat out Rapunzel instead. She's a 4-cost card, so maybe you might say we lose some benefit there, but this is usually unexpected. Sometimes they'll leave Mother Gato or Mulan up for turn 3 just because Rapunzel comes down on 4, they think they have another turn to get rid of them before we draw cards, but then we surprise them with Just in Time. We get our Rapunzel out a turn early and get our card draw early, so definitely a line worth considering. And as mentioned a bit during the deck list, we can play turn 1 Neverland, followed by turn 2 Fix It Felix for the draw, and turn 3 we shift the Felix. He can challenge requests if needed, and he adds a layer of protection to our Neverland and any following locations we play. So this is a really interesting line because we can follow this by like let's say turn 4 we play RLS Legacy, and then turn 5 we play Jim Hawkins and we cheat out another RLS Legacy. So this is a like very location heavy line, but all our locations are protected by Fix It Felix until he dies. So we have essentially 2 10 health ships, and Neverland has 6 health, so we are gaining up to 5 free LAR per turn if all those locations remain standing, which is insane and has to be dealt with very quickly. So if they don't have location removal, they'll find themselves in really dire straits. Not only that, of course, whenever RLS is out, we have the option of moving all our characters under, giving them evasive and keeping them safe. So yeah, very nice line if they're not like very focused on taking out your locations early. And yeah, sometimes you'll see that Fix It Felix, the Floodborn, can definitely get some work done, or at least draw a lot of fire, because a lot of times your opponents will think they will have to remove him first, because obviously he's giving everything extra health. So if you remove him first, then the locations will come down. So of course we also have the tried and true combo of Amber Ruby. We have the Shift Mulan. She will gain strength on shift, but even if you play her without shifting or on subsequent turns after you've done your blowout turn, if you have a queen on the board, you can shift her into the Floodborn, and you can surprise your opponents with this by giving your Mulan another 4 strength. So she has like a revival turn where she'll have 6 strength for another turn and then hit another 3 characters for 6. Sometimes your opponents will feel like they have to quest anyway, even if you already have both of these Floodborns on the field, so you get a good clear turn that way as well. And the last combo of one of our new cards, we have the Pride Lands. If you find yourself having to play Jim Hawkins out and playing him on the Pride Lands, you can follow this with Tuk Tuk. Tuk Tuk can bring another one of your characters onto the Pride Lands for free, so you don't have to pay the heavy cost to get 3 characters on this card. Once all your characters are on here, you can sacrifice the Pride Lands out and bring back one of your heavy hitters. So that's a very nice combo that I have done more than once, so something to definitely consider. We don't have many crazy cards to bring back, but you know, Fix It Felix Jr., the Floodborn coming back, or Jim Hawkins coming back, or Maui coming back can sometimes turn the tide of the game for sure. To round out this video, let's just finish up with some gameplay so you can kind of see this deck in action a little bit. I'm going to be playing against Amethyst, my friend's mid-range deck, so we'll just see if we can go faster than it and hopefully get to our win before they get some of their higher like win con cards onto the board. But yeah, we get a nice turn 1 queen into Shift Queen on 2. My opponent has Robin Hood on the field, and he's going to actually use it with Baboom to clear our queen off the board. I'm guessing he didn't have Shift Robin Hood, so this was just a simpler way to get out of things. But yeah, we have Mother Gothel and Mulan on 3. This actually works out pretty well for us because my opponent doesn't have a 5-cost character on board, so he can't sing Grab Your Swords. He can only really remove 1, so that's why I kind of played 2 so that I have options just in case, because I have Rapunzel on 4. I wanted to make sure I got the heal off, so if he removed one of the characters, at least I had another one to heal. And I felt pretty safe in questing here because Mother Gothel is now 3-4, which is kind of hard to get off the board. But yeah, my opponent is going, he has Mr. Shmi now. He is going to quest with it so that he can bounce it back for Madam Mim Fox, and then he's gonna trade with Mother Gothel. But again, I really like this because now on our board we have characters while my opponent doesn't. So I get another Rapunzel here actually. Since my Mulan stayed on the board, I get some more card draw, which is very nice. I did have an extra ink. I'm going to use it to play a Neverland here. I think it was the only one cost card in my one cost card in my hand, but it actually works out pretty well. Anyway, we're just going to keep questing. We're just going to keep trying to win before we get to my opponent's high-end cards. He's going to play Beast on 5, and we're going to show that that is actually too slow to play against my deck because I have a just-in-time. I've been drawing a lot of Rapunzel, and I finally find just-in-time Jim Hawkins and RLS Legacy. It is a little too late to you know, get the full effect of it, but it's actually still very effective. For our last 3 ink, we're just gonna play Tuk Tuk to move Rapunzel onto the Legacy for free. We're gonna quest across the board. We're up to 12 now. We're gonna get 3 for free just off the Legacy and the Neverland alone, and we have way more than enough characters to quest for the win. So my opponent has Grab Your Sword here, but we are a different kind of aggro. We don't have weenies. All our characters survive the Grab Your Sword. It doesn't even take one of them out. So yeah, definitely a different kind of deck, and we're going to really showcase the effectiveness here. But we're going to go into game 2. My opponent's going to be on the play now instead of us, so that we can also see how that works. How do we work on the draw instead of on the play? But yeah, he starts with Robin Hood, we start with Mulan, still pretty good. He still has the Baboom, so he gets to do that, and he gets to quest for free now with Robin Hood. On turn 2, I didn't have a 2 cost character, so I only had the Queen, but I just went ahead and played her anyway. She's still a pretty good threat, even if I don't have the Floodborn, but I know they might think I have the Floodborn. But we see my opponent plays Maleficent on 3, and on 3 we have our just-in-time into Jim Hawkins combo. So nice to get that early enough to really make a difference. Now we are putting our opponent on the clock. He's got to be worried that if he doesn't answer things quick enough, then I'm just going to get too much passive lore. So we'll see here that my opponent does have his Shift Robin Hood, but from the first game, I think he's worried about us getting out of control. He's going to try and attack the RLS Legacy because he doesn't have much other ways to get rid of it besides the attack. I'm actually going to attack into the Robin Hood. My opponent gets a draw, but the reason I do that is, like I mentioned earlier, Robin Hood has 3 strength. Our Jim Hawkins will survive it, and I get to draw off of Rapunzel, healing him. So yeah, we're sitting pretty with 2 lore that we just got from the Legacy, and our Legacy is still pretty healthy. I don't think my opponent has anything crazy that could get rid of it right now. Well, if he had Fox, it may have made a difference, but it doesn't look like that's the case. My opponent has Rabbit, and passes back to us. We gain another 2 lore. We're going to take advantage of the fact that he seems to be struggling with these locations right now. We're going to play another Legacy and just, you know, up the ante a little bit. We also have 2 amazing questers that quest for 2 each, that we are going to go all the way up to 8 right now. And we have 2 legacies on the board. We still have 3 questers now. We can go all the way up to 17 next turn. So unless my opponent gets rid of these soon, it's going to be a big problem, but we'll see. My opponent is just still attacking. He attacks into the other legacy, I'm assuming, because he thinks he has to get rid of both of them at once next turn, or he loses anyway. And I accidentally play my next character off the board here, but I play the Fix-It Felix Floodborn. I add 2 health to both of the legacies, really just seal the deal there. I moved the Queen onto the wrong legacy. I meant to move it onto the one that Jim Hawkins is on, but it doesn't matter. My opponent isn't going to be able to find a way to get out of this. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this deck profile. Let me know what you guys think about the deck. Let me know what you would change, and yeah, I'll catch you guys next time. Thank you for watching, and I will see you later. Ciao.